I'm John Horn from the LA Times.
I'm Kenneth Turan from the Los Angeles Times.
Kenny, let's talk a little bit about the screenplay nominations first. Original screenplay, The Messenger. Seemed like a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah. I mean, people were talking about this film. You knew it was on everyone's radar, but you never know how people are going to finally vote. But the writers' branch every year takes unusual films. They're always taking films that almost no one else takes, and they're always picking stuff kind of from left field, like In Bruges was a film that was nominated a couple years ago. An excellent film, but most people hadn't even heard of it.
You see everything, so tell us about In the Loop, which was nominated for Adapted Screenplay movie that I have to admit I didn't know anything about.
In the Loop is an independent British film. It's a kind of a satire on the military. It's our involvement in Iraq and Afghanistan and places like that. It's a very fast-talking film. It's very glib. It's very high energy, very fast dialogue, and I think writers appreciated that.
I think people look at a movie like District 9, which was also nominated for Adapted Screenplay, and they think about what Neil Blomkamp was able to achieve technologically with a very little amount of money, and how he took an alien movie and kind of set it in a South Africa and apartheid setting. But also, the Academy recognized that as an original piece of writing and something that was worthy of a nomination.
Absolutely. The other one that I'm happy is there is An Education, because I've read the original piece in Granta that the screenplay is based on. You see the film, you think, well, he just adapted something that was already written. There's a lot more that Nick Hornby brought to the story of An Education that you don't really know until you read the original piece. A lot of stuff is fleshed out. Suggestions are teased into fuller forms. It's really an exceptional piece of screenwriting.
The Academy has spent a lot of time working on the foreign language films because there have been any number of films that have been either not shortlisted or not nominated. The same has happened in the documentary feature category. Is it your feeling that this year is a better representation of the best in foreign language and perhaps the best in documentary features?
Well, foreign language, yes. Foreign language, they now have a two-committee system in addition to the original voters, and they've really got it down to a science. All the big films, Prophet, White Ribbon, they're all in there. Film from Peru that won the prize at Berlin is there. Crowd Pleaser from Argentina. Strong Israeli film. It's an excellent group of foreign language films. Documentaries I'm not so happy with. I mean, they are all good films, but there's no kind of films that aren't serious political films.
Right.
Even among the shortlisted films, the Valentino film was shortlisted, didn't make the final five. Beaches of Anya is shortlisted, didn't make the final five. It's all really serious stuff.
Well, and I think the more interesting thing is in the documentary category, one of my favorite films of the year, and I think it's one of your favorite films of the year, wasn't even shortlisted, and that is Anvil. So what happened there? Is it just too populist a film, not serious enough?
I think the makeup of this committee, as you can tell by the final five, really goes for films that are more serious. And I think a film about heavy metal, I'm not even sure everyone watched it. They said, this can't be a good film. And it turns out to be a completely charming film. But I think I think this is one that got by them. They can't be 100% every year, and this is a film that got by them.
I would tend to agree. And I know when they weren't shortlisted for documentary feature, they tried a Best Picture run. Obviously, that didn't work. That's the model of heavy metal. Rock on, right?
They are rocking on for sure.
Okay, I am John Horn from the LA Times.
And this is Kenneth Turan for the LA Times.